I deserve to be famous, damn it. And one day, said Sean, with his arms spread dramatically, one day I will be a rock star and my records will line these walls. Hi, I'm Neil A. Yeager, and today I'm reading from my novel, Non-Hollywood. Check out this video's description text to check out some of the music projects that I've been involved with. This is chapter 16, No More Record Stores. His coworker, Jose, looked up from what he was reading and with a bored expression countered, "These walls? These walls aren't going to be lined with records, period, for much longer." "Oh man, don't believe that stuff," Sean replied as he, for no apparent reason, vaulted over the front counter and crashed into the stool which was behind the cash register. Behind the counter was his black Strat in its case. After repositioning the toppled stool, Sean pulled the guitar out and began strumming away, the unamplified strings making a tinny sound beneath his fingertips. He continued, "Yeah, we've taken hits, but there'll always be record stores, dude. Always." Taken hits. There are like 10 record stores left in all of California. I'm sorry to break this to you, but we belong to a dying profession. "Oh, you're crazy. And besides, it ain't my profession, it's my job." "Right, you're gonna be a rock star." "Damn right." Jose shook his head and turned his attention back to his reading. But Sean wasn't about to let Jose get away that easily. Sean pointed a finger toward Jose and said, "There will always be record stores. And besides, aren't you the one who's always saying that vinyl's better? That it's making a comeback?" Jose simply shrugged him off and went back to what he had been reading. Sean continued, "Well, MP3s are better anyway." "Are you kidding me?" Jose wailed, taking the bait. MP3s. Vinyl is better, a lot better, 50 times better than that online digital crap that's been compressed to death. For 100 years, sound quality kept getting better and better, and then the web comes along and now everything sounds like shit. "Why?" asked Sean, knowing the answer full well, but wanting to egg Jose on. "Why? Because when the web came along, they had to compress the audio files so that they would be small enough to stream. Your MP3s are about 1/10 of the file size of CD audio, and so of course, the sound is about 1/10 as good. The mind-boggling thing is that people put up with it. Just because it's easier, they put up with their music sounding like shit. Too much trouble to buy a CD. And then good vinyl sounds even better than a CD any day. And that," said Sean with a smile, "is why this place is still here." "No," said Jose, "we're still here because of that room," as he pointed to a doorway draped in black curtains that led to a black light-lit area where the record store owner ran a head shop. Jose continued, "And him selling pot is not going to fend off the inevitable forever. Record stores are dead." Sean shook his head. "You're wrong. Record stores are forever, man." Jose just shook his head and turned away from Sean. Sean said, "Hey, did I tell you I've got 150,000 followers?" Jose rolled his eyes and said sarcastically, "Well, good for you. And add that to all those connections you're making here in LA and you're nearly famous already." "I'm working on it, and I do have some connections," said Sean. "You know one 80-year-old hack screenwriter who you met in a bar." "Yeah, we met in a bar, but he's not 80, and he ain't a hack. He's an artist. The guy stepped away from the business for like artistic, spiritual reasons. He's like this mysterious guru type guy who doesn't write anymore. He's like that guy JD, what's his name? Salinger, JD Salinger. Yeah, that dude." Jose took a deep breath and then said, No, because you see, people wanted Salinger to keep writing. Nobody cares about this guy." Sean laughed incredulously. "His scripts were made into movies. Have you met anybody who could say that? Anybody in your acting class? Anybody in those seminars you always go to?" Jose replied, "The guy wrote crappy, low-budget, barely watchable B-movies in the 1970s. I looked him up on IMDb. His credits are crap, and now he's flashing you a script that apparently didn't even live up to those standards because it was never even produced. And you're impressed? Sean shook his head and smirked. Jose. You don't understand, dude. That script was too good for the studio guys. It was like that album that Brian Wilson was working on that was like the perfect album, but he never finished it because he cracked up and then went on the space shuttle or something. But the album was genius, but nobody got to hear it. It's like that. I think you got that Brian Wilson story kind of screwed up there, said Jose, who then tried to walk away from the conversation. But Sean was having none of that. He followed Jose and continued, "But you got me off track. The script ain't the point. The point is that one way or another, I'm gonna make it, dude. You see, I know for a friggin' well-known fact that you just gotta meet that one right person and then bam, you're off. That's all it takes, man. And when I make it, I will buy this crappy little store because it'll still be here, because record stores will still be here." Jose continued his reading, obviously attempting to ignore Sean. Sean sighed and just looked at Jose. Look at him, Sean thought, just sitting there reading those stupid... "What are you reading?" Sean asked. "Are you reading those casting notices again?" "Don't worry about it." "Worry? I'm not worried, but you spend all that time looking through those things and then you never do a damn thing about it. You talk about acting, but do you ever go to these auditions? Do you ever do any friggin' thing?" "I'm honing my craft." Honing your craft? What the hell is that supposed to mean? It means that I'm honing my craft. I'm going to classes, I'm learning, I'm perfecting. Dude, if you're only acting in acting class, you're not honing, you're just jerking off. Stop masturbating, get out there and get laid for real. Jose got up, annoyed, and walked away from Sean and into the back room. Sean called after him. "They got a word for guys like you, Jose. You know what that word is? You're a wannabe. A wannabe, Jose." Sean listened for a reply, but apparently his coworker was not taking the bait this time. All Sean heard was silence. "I'm not a wannabe," said Sean confidently. "Not wannabe. I am. Am."